Hello students, in this session of class I am going to explain about polarization of light. So this is what the last theoretical concept in wave optics. See, like interference and diffraction, polarization is also one of the phenomenon of light which can be explained on the basis of wave nature. But the thing is, to explain polarization, one should consider transverse nature of light, because the phenomenon of polarization is the conformative phenomena or conformative things or conformative physical quantity for the transverse nature of light. See, transverse means just like electromagnetic waves. The vibration of the medium particles are perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So that is the thing of transverse nature. So you know about the longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Longitudinal waves are those waves in which the medium particles are parallel to the direction of propagation. But transverse waves are those waves in which the medium particles are vibrating perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So here the phenomenon of polarization can confirms the light is transverse in nature. It means they are electromagnetic waves, isn't it? But the definition of polarization is, the polarization states that, or polarization is the phenomenon of light here after passing through certain media or obstacle or liquid or solid, water it may be, the vibration is restricted to single direction. See, light is vibrating in all directions because they are transverse in nature. The transverse is possible in all directions perpendicular to the direction of propagation of energy. See, if the vibration is restricted to single direction after making certain thing or after passing through certain media, the phenomenon of light is said to be polarization. So to understand polarization, first of all, you must know what is transverse nature of light. Suppose say it is a light, it is coming perpendicular to the direction of this board. It means the vibration is possible in all directions. So like this. So this is the direction of light. So n number of vibrations are present. So if the light is perpendicular to this board, so vibrations are present here. Now what happens? If the vibrations are restricted to single direction after passing through certain crystals, such a phenomenon of light is said to be polarization of light. You got it? So to consider polarized light, so you must understand what is unpolarized light and polarized light. This is what unpolarized light. So to write the ray diagram for the polarized and unpolarized light, suppose if the vibration is present both the directions. So this is the direction parallel to the plane of the board. This is the dot which represents the perpendicular to the direction of the board. It means it is unpolarized. If you are writing like this, so this is the diagram which represents unpolarized light. So if you are removing any one, so if you are removing this one, if you are removing only writing only parallel to the direction of this, so this light or this is the representation of plane polarized light in which the vibration is parallel to the plane of the board. So it is polarized light and this is unpolarized light. This is unpolarized. Unpolarized. This is polarized. Polarized light. So the polarized light can also be represented like this. Bubbles. It means the vibration is perpendicular to the plane of the board. Clear now? So if the unpolarized light is made into polarized light, that phenomenon is also said to be polarization. It is possible by generally polarites. So polarites are the devices or the optical medium which can produce polarized light. So unpolarized light is converted into polarized light after passing through polarites. So in a polarites or anything which can produce polarized light should have pass axis, a stream of molecules through which the vibrations of the medium particles or vibration of light is passing through them. So especially, so there are two types of vibration in electromagnetic waves. Electric and magnetic field vibrations are there. So the light means only electrical vibrations. So a stream of a medium particles in the polarites, there if you pass a light, so only electrical vibrations are passed in a single direction. Such a stream of particles are said to be pass axis, isn't it? So uses of polarites. See, you are familiar about sunglasses. So there, especially on the sunglasses, polarized sunglasses they can take. So there, the intensity of light can be reduced. So especially where we are using polarites, first one is the polarites are used in sunglasses to reduce the intensity of light. Second one, the polarites are used in automobile vehicles, windows of the automobile vehicles. There also they can use to reduce the intensity of light to enter inside the vehicle. The last one is the polarites are used in the cinematography. There we need to take the three-dimensional pictures or three-dimensional videos. So these are all the uses of polarites. So afterwards, I already told the light is transverse in nature. So the polarization phenomena can prove the transverse nature of light. To prove the transverse nature of light, let us consider a simple experimental arrangement here. So let us consider this is the Polaroid which can produce plain polarized light. So polarizer I can say. So it is polarizer P1. So P1 is the polarizer. Okay. So if you pass a light through this polarizer, so 50% of light is coming from here to here, because according to Malus law, once the light will get polarized, 50% of the light will cut off. That is according to Malus law. The intensity of polarization is directly proportional to square of the cosine of the angle. It means 50% of the light is cut off. So I is equal to I naught into cos square theta they will take. That is Malus law. According to Malus law, once the light will get polarized, 50% of light will be cut off. Okay. So now to identify the transverse nature of light, this is what the simple arrangement. When a light, so here let us consider monochromatic light, sodium vapor lamp. When the light is passed through this polarizer, 50% of the light will cut off. So if you rotate polarizer, there is no variation in intensity of light here. Okay. So now if you place a analyzer, so this is what the analyzer, P2 I will consider. It is just like a polarizer. So now whatever the light coming from P1 is made to fall on P2. So the light is coming out from P2 is completely plain polarized light. So now if there is no angle between these two, if these two are parallel, it means the pass axis is parallel. Whatever the intensity of light, the same intensity of light is here also. So once it starts rotating, the intensity goes on decreases. It means when the angle between through pass axis P1 and P2 is 90 degree, intensity is 0. If you rotate one complete rotations, 2 times maximum, 2 times minimum. It means, so when the angle between two pass axis is 90 degree, then there is no intensity of light. It means the light can pass exactly, the vibration is exactly perpendicular to the direction of propagation. So that is the confirmation of this experimental arrangement. See, if the angle between these two is 90 degree, then there is no intensity of light. The intensity is completely 0. So that is the meaning of the polarization. Polarization means the vibration is restricted to a single direction. It will confirm the transverse nature of light. Right? So these two are same polarites. So if you rotate P1, there is no variation in intensity. If you rotate P2, there should be a variation of intensity of light. It means the light coming out from P1 is plain polarized. the light coming out from P2 is also plane polarized. That's why if the angle between the two pass axes is 90 degree, the intensity is 0. If it's parallel, the intensity is maximum. So now we got an idea, no? So the experimentally, the polarization confirms light is transverse in nature. Clear? So after that, Malus law, as I already told, the intensity of light during polarization is equal to I naught into cos square theta. So statement is intensity of polarized light is directly proportional to, since it is a constant, square of the cosine of the angle between two pass axes. Clear? So now to understand this Malus law, so you can remember, so once the light will get polarized to any Polaroid or any optical medium, 50% of light will be cut off. That is the meaning of Malus law. Clear now? So now let us come to the polarization by scattering of light. So you already studied about scattering of light in the previous topic. So what is scattering of light? Absorption and re-emission of light in the atmospheric gas molecules is called scattering of light. See, according to scattering of light, the light will more get scattered with longer wavelength will get scattered more than the shorter wavelength. I mean shorter wavelength will get scattered more than the longer wavelength, because the intensity of scattering I is inversely proportional to lambda to the power of 4. Fourth power of the wavelength of light used. So that is what the scattering statement. So on the basis of that, the scattering of light can also be obtained the polarized light. See what happens. So in the atmosphere, if the light is passing like this from the sun, this is what sun. If the light is passing in the atmosphere, so this is having the vibration is possible in all the direction. So that's why it is called unpolarized light is passing through the atmosphere. If the angle between incident light and the scattered light, so when the atmosphere gets scattered, if it is scattered and it is passing perpendicular to this, it is completely plane polarized. It is completely plane polarized. It means the vibration is restricted to single direction. That you have to remember. C.V. Raman got Nobel Prize on the basis of this explanation of scattering of light by the molecules. Molecular scattering he has explained. He has got Nobel Prize to explain the scattering of light. Here, during the scattering of light by the atmospheric gas molecule, if the angle between incident light and the scattered light is 90 degree, then the scattered light is completely plane polarized. You can remember this. The scattered light is completely plane polarized. The condition is the angle between the incident light and scattered light must be 90 degree. So that condition you have to remember. So it means in the atmosphere also, during the scattering of light, we are getting completely plane polarized when the angle between incident light and the scattered light is 90 degree. Clear? So it is completely plane polarized light. And the next one is, we can also obtain scattering by reflection. Let us consider, this is the rectangular glass slab. You know about the reflection of light. Let us consider the plane surface. When a light is made to incident on the glass surface, now what happens? Here reflection and refraction of light both will take place. A part of a light will be reflected and a part of a light is refracted. It should satisfy laws of reflection. The angle between incident ray, this is angle of incident and this is angle of reflection. It should be equal. Now there is a light passing through this glass slab. This is what? The refracted light. See, if you vary the angle of incident, then there is a variation intensity in refracted light and reflected light. At a particular angle of incident, the reflected light is completely plane polarized light. You can remember this. The vibration is restricted to single direction. Completely plane polarized. So that particular angle of incident is called polarizing angle or Brewster's angle also we can say. Now at that time what happens? The angle between the reflected and refracted is exactly 90 degree. when the angle between reflected and refracted light is 90 degree, here it is having vibrations in all the directions because this is not plane polarized. The vibration is present in all the directions. That's why I'll just write unpolarized light. Unpolarized light, polarized light. This is also unpolarized light, ordinary light we can say. Clear now? So this is what the thing you have to remember. If this angle is IP, so this angle is said to be angle of refraction. So let us apply Snell's law. You know what is Snell's law? Refractive index is equal to ratio of sine of angle of incident to the sine of angle of refraction. Here IE is equal to IP. IP is called polarizing angle or Brewster's angle, and R can also be written as, here R is angle of refraction. Here angle of refraction, you know that. So if it is IP and this one is also IP, no, this one is also IP. What is the angle between these two? So this total angle is 180. Out of 180, this must be 90. Clear now? So this is 90 means if I subtract the 90 degree minus R it means IP. We'll get R only. So 90 minus R, 90 minus R is said to be, 90 minus IP is said to be angle of refraction. So then substitute these two value. N is equal to sine IP divided by sine of 90 minus IP. You know that sine 90 minus theta is cos theta. So then N is equal to sine IP divided by cos IP. This comes to first coordinate. In first coordinate all are positive. So sin IP by cos IP can be written as tan IP. So it means refractive index is equal to tangent of the polarizing angle. So this is the mathematical formula for Brewster's law. So Brewster's law states that the refractive index of the medium is equal to tangent of the polarizing angle. So it is also stated as the tangent of the polarizing angle is equal to refractive index of the medium. Clear now? So this is about Brewster's law. So I will conclude the polarization concept here. In polarization, you have to remember the definition of polarization and definition of path axis, and then what are polarites and uses of polarites, and transverse nature of light, very simple experimental explanation by using polarites. And then you have to remember the Malus law for examination. It is very important concept. And then polarization by two methods you have to remember. One is polarization by scattering and polarization by reflection. In both the cases the angle is 90 degree. So yeah, the reflected and refracted light should have 90 degree angle. There the incident light and scattered light should be 90 degree in scattering. Polarization by scattering. And at the end, this is one of the very important question for our examination, Brewster's law. So Brewster's law is related to polarization, and Malus law is also related to polarization, but it is on the basis of intensity, but this is for refractive index. So I want to repeat this statement, Brewster's law. The tangent of the Brewster's angle or polarizing angle is equal to the refractive index of the medium. So with that, I am going to end this topic, wave optics. See, in wave optics, mainly we are concentrated about Huygens principle. With the help of Huygens principle, we have explained the refraction and reflection of light. Those two things are very important for the examination. Later on, we have discussed about three phenomena of light. One is the interference of light, another one is diffraction of light, and the last one is polarization of light. So these three phenomena are modification in the intensity of light. In the first case, it is due to the superposition, that is interference. In the second case, it is bending, called diffraction. In the third case, it is the vibration is restricted to single direction. So in all the three cases, we can consider the modification of intensity of light or the modification in the redistribution of light. So before interference, diffraction, polarization, and intensity is uniform. So after these three processes, the intensity is not uniform. So this is the thing what we have observed, and all these three are explained on the basis of wave nature. Interference and diffractions are explained by generally the mechanical waves also. But while explaining the diffraction, interference, not interference, polarization, we should consider light as transverse nature. It means the vibration is restricted perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Clear now? So with that, I'm going to end this session of class. So thank you for watching this video.